Hi. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. It's September 14th. This is Living in the Light. I'm Mary Amy. I'm coming to you live. I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, and firstly, cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. So how is everyone today? I feel like the camera's a little off. How is everyone today? What's new? Did you tune into your heart today? Did you ask how you're doing? How are you feeling? What was your first intention? What were you thinking about when you woke up? If you put it in a sentence in front of you, what exactly would that be? I still feel like the camera's a little funky doodle today. Sorry, maybe I should start over. Okay, no, I'm just going to keep going. I'll just edit it. So anyway, let's see. I don't really remember my dreams last night. Do you remember your dreams? And I know what it is. I think that this is backwards. I feel like this is backwards or something. Something's funny. Okay, I'm losing my mind. Okay, so anyway, today we're going to cover subjects like one-way street, dark horse, what shape is the earth, and also I want to mention the 7 days of darkness, and that's in relation to the Schumann resonance. So the 7 days of darkness, what exactly is that? Well, there's this Schumann resonance chart, and I believe it's the information is coming from Russia. It's observations from this, what would it be called? Like a mechanism, this piece of equipment, and it shows geomagnetic disturbances. And so on this chart, which I'll show you what it looks like yesterday. And when I say 7 days of darkness, what do I mean by that? I mean that it's literally coming up. If you can see it here, I'm going to show you. Okay, so here is, let's see, this day right here is, I guess it was yesterday. Anyway, here's yesterday. And so this is considered darkness, if you can see that, where there's no kind of information, and same here. And so is this a blackout is what we're wondering. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there it is. So you can see right here. Is it considered a blackout? Well, they're saying, a lot of other hosts are talking about this as a blackout. You can look on Twitter. Is it a glitch? And so what does that mean? What has affected the Schumann resonance? Now it shows frequencies that are global, and it's like a set of spectrum. So it peaks the portion of the Earth's electromagnetic field. So like white, when you see white, that's extreme. That means that there's a lot going on. And it seems like blue is probably considered normal, and then green is a little bit off. So is this the 7 days of blackout in the Schumann resonance? Is this because there's solar flares? There is an exorbitant amount of energy coming onto the earth that's very unusual? Is this an anomaly, which is what deviates from the normal? It's a not easily classified particular strange occurrence. So 7 days of darkness, which means there's been 7 days where there hasn't been any kind of information given. Now, I wonder, is it a glitch? Is it a glitch in the system? Is the equipment down? And so there could be a lot of different explanations, and it's really hard from where we are to try to figure out what this means. Now, there's been some things that have happened in the last week and a half, and globally, there was the changing of the guard now, and there has been, I guess, a lot of chaos going on as we've been speaking of on a global scale. There's been a lot of conflict, and there has been, I don't want to say war, but there's been a lot of battling. People are battling with themselves. There is a discrepancy within everyone's belief systems. Like, what is really going on? Like, what can you believe? What do you believe? Now, the Earth operates on 7.83 hertz, and the humans like us, beings of light, we operate on 7 to 13 hertz. And so the Schumann resonance shares with us what's going on geomagnetically with the earth. And so it is an indication of something. Now, I don't know exactly what. I think in time we will find out, but I wanted to bring it up and for you to be aware of it. I don't know how much you are on social media, or it's not in the normal news. It's not something that you're going to hear about on, the television. So I just wanted to bring that up. And, this is all about having a willingness to have an open mind and an open heart, and to look at the possibility that there's another reality out there, and there's another view and perception of the world. And so that's what I'm here to do, is to share that. So I thought about, what's going on and how everything seems to be going in one direction. Some people, there's a lot of divide going on. We aren't all holding hands and in peace. We're not hugging each other. I mean, I would like to hug, but there's a lot out there of a lot of negativity, and I say lower vibrational. And so I'm bringing up the terminology one-way street. Now, we all have encountered, if you drive a car, regardless of what country you're in, I'm sure that most countries and most towns or cities have what's called a one-way street. So what is a one-way street? Well, it's the one-way direction goes, the traffic, right? I mean, we know you can't, why can't you go the other way? Because all the cars are coming at you. So everything's headed in one direction. And so that brings up one way of thinking, a one world thinking. And we speak of the matrix, and for those of you who don't understand what I'm referring to the linear world, the 3D world, the simulation that we're living in, the systems, all the structure. And in that matrix, in the place that we've been brought up and we were born incarnated into, we find that there seems to be just one way of doing everything. Like I say, when you go to school, you memorize information, you spit it back out. That's one way. The teachers aren't sitting there and saying, well, what do you think? Do you think that to be true? No, they're telling you it's in the book and this is what you're going to study. So it's one way. So we've been kind of trained to be living down and running down and walking down a one-way street. Now, it's designed, a one-way street, to direct you in one direction, to move slowly that way, only that way. Now, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't really resonate with me, having more of an independent mind. So I kind of question things. I don't know if you're someone who questions things, but when we all move solely in one direction, what does that tell you? So, like, okay, in some regards, I guess it's good, because then, everything's flowing in one way. And maybe, there won't be, chaos and confusion because we're only going in one way. However, when we solely move in one direction, okay, in all situations, which not all situations are going to have the same answer. Not all situations are going to need a one-way street. So you have to, and I'm suggesting, you question a one-way street. So what are the benefits of one-way street? Well, those who are in charge with one-way street have the power, have the influence, but it kind of only benefits them, right? Now, if you proceed in the direction that they want, I guess that, those will be interested and pleased with you. However, there's no other way or chance to have any other movement, any other thoughts, and any other ideas. So it's a one-way conversation, right? So that means that if you're having a one-way conversation, then you're counting on whoever's in charge to have all the answers. Now, I told you yesterday that when I was speaking about, this false light that's in the matrix, these people that are claiming to be prophets and seers, and they know everything, and they're going to save the world, from whatever's going on. I said to you that when I looked at those that I found interesting, that had opinions, I didn't stick with one. So I find that it's really hard for me to understand how having a one-way conversation on a one-way street will ultimately benefit me. Why? Why? Because guess what? I have to go with what's in my heart, in my spirit. And those that have designed the one-way street might not know that. So I have to kind of tune into what is going on with me, just like you must. Hey, Tanika, Grand Rising from Detroit. Thanks for joining us. Anyone who's joining us, I hope that you subscribe to the channel. And right now, we kind of spoke about the 7 days of darkness, which I have minimal conversation about because I'm not really, knowing about like physics and mathematics and the Earth's atmosphere, but I kind of give like a little bit of a perspective. And now we're talking about one-way street. And, I'm kind of going to go into the idea or the possibility of what will happen if this concept of a one-way street takes over us globally. So if we're all moving in the same direction and we have a one-way conversation, that does not leave any room for independence, for freedom, from free will, for sovereignty, right? I mean, I'm using this as an example of one-way street. I mean, they are great in some respects in towns, but when it comes to our lives, I don't know if it's good for us to have a one-way street, for there only to be one way of doing everything. So a one-way conversation might lead to, through a community, through a state, through a country, a one world government. Now, so what is this exactly? This is the concept. Hey, Thomas. Hi. Thanks for joining us from Australia. Thank you. Great to hear from you. If you have anything to offer, say it in the chat. I'm open. I'm open to whatever anyone has to say. It's called free will, open heart, open mind. So if we, this is just hypothetically, if we end up going into the idea or the concept of a one world government, which is a single authority with jurisdiction over all humanity, which means that it's a one-way street. Because if everyone has the same chance, the same opportunity, same concept, same rules, same laws, is that going to apply for everyone? I mean, I'm going to be the rebel. I'm from a gang of rebels, not the ones that cause havoc out there, but the ones that have another idea about reality. I'm one of those rebels. Are you one of those rebels? And so what could possibly happen? Well, if you want to use the example, the United Nations, I don't know, remains the closest to a one world government. Maybe a king. A king is considered kind of a one world government for what power he reigns over, what land he reigns over, right? And so, I don't know if you look at history, how well that has taken. And so kings advocate a position of entire reign over their country. And so in some respects, you might say, well, this could be a good thing, right? If we have, a one world government or one leader or one king, because we're going to unite. We might just unite. Everybody might unite, right? And we might theoretically or hypothetically find, answers quicker because we don't really have, that many people making choices, and everything can be solved for all really fast. And hopefully we would come together, right? And maybe even come together in peace. Maybe we would all really hug each other and love each other. But yet, personally, what I've experienced is that when we have a one-way street, it causes suffering and animosity, and it's unfair. It's like to have a supreme monarch is not really fair for those beneath them, right? Because if we are up here, like if we just want to say here, here's our world, and here I am, you are, we're here. And usually a person in position of power, or we want to say a entity in power, like a government, they're going to be above us, which means what? Do we have our personal power anymore? Do we have choices anymore? And who do we answer to? My theory is, and my perspective is, that I would rather that we all have a chance to have an opinion and we have an attitude, and then that's how we actually create more harmony and more happiness personally. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to share One Way Street. And let's consider beyond this moment about what what would be workable for you. How would you feel about a one-way street, a one world government, a king, a monarch? Or would you prefer to have everything be more choices out here, more flexibility? And I believe that if we have more openness, then we will have more willingness to have peace, to have love, right? Because when we're squished, we've kind of been squished for a while in these structures. I don't want to be squished anymore. I don't want to be smashed down. I want to actually be open. I want to see what's in front of me. I don't want someone to make the choice and tell me what I have to do or where I have to go. Because if we are looking for our destiny, we need to have an open mind. We need to expand our awareness. We need to have choices. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, we also, if we have control will stifle us. And then beyond that, it can cause things like, if people aren't happy, it might cause violence. It could cause penalties, imprisonment, and it will totally take away your heart, because you will have so much pain that you'll just be crushed. We are all individuals, however, we like to be those who think that they know what is best for us because it makes it easy. Yes. And you know what? Honestly, you're absolutely right. And you know what? I find that there's a lot of complacency, and then people don't want to make a choice. But then the alternative is that then that's your decision. So let's be aware and have discernment. And like I say, when you pull out of the driveway, do you go right or left? Now, this brings up a valuable direction to go into, off the one-way street, and bringing up the fact that we are all really special individuals. And I like to think of calling us dark horses. Now, do you know what a dark horse is? A dark horse is considered, and that is crazy, a dark horse is considered the least likely candidate to win a race. It's considered the underdog. It's considered you're slim, you're not going to win. It's unexpected. You have a very, very, very rare chance of crossing the finish line first. There's a remote possibility. And so I believe, the black sheep of the family, I believe that we, you and I, because we're coming from a different perspective, we are looking at reality from a different perspective and point of view, right? Because we realize that there's other things out there besides the cage, besides the matrix, the four walls and the ceiling. And so we have a very strong possibility of winning unexpectedly. And the reason why I'm saying that is, if you look at the norm and you look at those who follow, who are followers, who are conformists, and they're not tuning into their heart and their spirit and their mind and everything that brought them here, and they're not being open, so they're not really tuning into who they are. They're going with the pack. they don't really have a strong chance of winning the race because they're not even in the race. You're in the race. You're the dark horse. Now, if you didn't know this, a horse is considered a majestic animal. It's good luck. It embodies spiritual power and independence and freedom and nobleness. And around the world, they are loved. Horses are loved. And it symbolizes wealth. Now, you can become a winner. And I'm telling you, you have a better chance of winning than anyone else because you can see another reality and you are really tuning into your spirit, your heart, your mind, and everything that you embody is true. That's why I said the other day, when something crosses your path or new information comes in, you have to take a look at it because it's important for you. There's something there because this is how it goes. We are all a vibration, right? I give off a vibration and a frequency, all my words and thoughts and everything. And we've spoken about this. Hi, Tanika. Most insightful people have been labeled a black sheep, including me. Okay, so black sheep, dark horse, in the same family. Yes, I was named a black sheep in my family as well. So, anyway, and so my point is that if someone comes to you, we spoke about this, if you go out into a crowd of people and you don't head towards anyone, if you want to see what you attract, you just stand there and see who comes up to you. Maybe you're at a party, maybe you're at an event, you're somewhere. See who comes up to you, and like attracts like. Now, are you supposed to meet that person? Maybe. But my point is that whatever comes to you, like when we work on our intuitive abilities, whatever comes to you, the information that you receive, and maybe you're doing just a little reading by yourself where you're in a place and you're tuning into beyond the walls of the room. What impressions are you receiving? You're supposed to receive this information. So that's why I'm sharing with you how important it is that you're a dark horse, because you are 10 steps of everybody out there, because you're looking at everything from a different perspective. Now, this old reality is leaving. Now, the Schumann resonance that I mentioned earlier, 7 days of darkness, is a sign of change. Now, are you experiencing change personally in your life? Horses are absolutely beautiful, and yes, they are. Are you experiencing changes in your personal life? Now, maybe it's that some of the things that you've been hearing don't really match up. If you go back 2 years ago, what were you hearing? And now something else is said. So pay attention to yourself. Trust your heart. Trust yourself. Accept yourself and believe in yourself. That's how you're going to move forward faster. Like we say, a quantum leap to your destiny right now. Everything matters. Every decision matters. Pay attention. Pay attention. Maybe you'll receive messages from a stranger through nature. We're all connected. Everything that you get, you're supposed to receive. So if you're a dark horse and you're the little known candidate and you're the underdog, there's little chance of you winning, outside shot, I want to say to you that you're actually the one who's going to succeed. And you're going to succeed because you're looking at things 10 steps ahead of everyone else right now. Most are conforming. So that when you're conforming, what are you doing? You're not trusting yourself. You're not believing in yourself. You're following the pack. I've seen these films. We spoke about clones the other day. I saw this film. I don't remember the name of it. And these two young beautiful beings wake up, and they don't realize that they are in a simulation, that they are clones, and that they are just doing the same tasks over and over. And then they come out of it only to realize that it was a fake world, a fake reality. So if everyone's conforming, they're not really trusting their own spirit, their own destiny, their own heart. So I'm just making this as a suggestion to you to do that. Okay, so horses are a good omen. I don't know if you know that. In most cultures, they're considered good luck, and they're a symbol of innocence. Okay, so like being a rebel with me, you can be a dark horse or a black sheep, whatever you want to call it. But believe in yourself. You have gifts, you have abilities. And the more that you trust yourself and have a willingness to believe and accept who you are, then the faster you will reach your destiny. Okay, everyone. So I kind of had like a little bit of, maybe I should mention this, maybe I shouldn't. And before I go on to what shape is the earth, because I want to know what everyone else thinks. What shape is the earth? Is the earth? I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to pose a question to everyone. Is the earth they say technically it's considered a sphere or a geoid, an irregularly shaped ellipsoid, or are you a flat earther? Do you believe the earth is flat? Well, if not flat, well, it is not flat. Okay. Or is it a dome? So like it has like it's a dome over the earth, so it's like this, right? It's flat maybe, or we just have a dome over us. I don't know. What do you believe? What are you coming up with? I believe it is round. Okay, good. And I'm saying good because that's just, I don't know what it is, because they say how they decide, how they determine the shape of the earth is from space, right? So from space, and it's basically depending on the context. Now, the first to come up with that it's a sphere was Fernand Magellan, and I butcher names, Juan Sebastian Eclan in 1519 to 1522, and they claimed the earth was a sphere. And we all know that prior to that, been a globe since it was created, and it will be. Okay, fair enough. And then, before that, we know because of maps and when sailors would say it was flat. But really, apparently in 500 BC, Pythagoras, he expressed the idea that it was a sphere. So, and I wasn't even going into that. I thought that, I wanted to kind of talk about intuitive abilities for a minute, but we'll just keep going for a little more of a second about flat earth. So there's what's called the Flat Earth Society. Now, I don't know if this like brings anger to people. I find that there's a lot of objection. I looked into it. This was about 2 years ago. Someone said the Flat Earth Society. And, those who are in it, those who are out of it, whatever your beliefs are, people tend to kind of have a very, and after we've gotten to they have a very strong opinion of it. I don't really know. Obviously I believe it's a globe. I always use that as an example when I use emojis and all that, because that's all I've kind of been programmed to know, right? I don't know anything else. That it's a globe, it's a sphere. Do I believe it's flat? I watched this movie, an independent film, and it was from the Flat Earthers, and they had a camera, and then they kept traveling, focusing in and out, close up and far distance, and they made it look like no matter what, it was flat. It was just flat as far as you could see. And some of it could be an optical illusion. So I don't know. How I believe I don't, unless I see it. I have questions about Antarctica. If anyone wants to say anything about Antarctica, The Level, yes. Worst movie ever. Anderson discovered the radius of the earth with 2 sticks in the ground. Fair enough. You've got a lot of knowledge about this, Thomas Grant. So they believe that the flat earthers, their belief came from this pamphlet from 1849, Samuel Rowbotham, and it was a pamphlet of Celtic astronomy. So they believe it's a flat disk, and they base it on mathematics. And the Flat Earth Society came about in 1950. So in the 1950s, you know, I don't know. I don't put anything out of any possibility until if I'm in a spaceship and I'm traveling up, lived and worked in the Antarctica. No, really? What did he do in Antarctica? what did he do in Antarctica? Are you going to share that? Did he work for the government? Is it a government thing? There are several bases there. Was it a government base? Yeah, Antarctica. I wonder about Antarctica. It was an electrician there. Wow, I'm sure I would like to read his diary. Okay, so I don't know about what shape the Earth is. I mean, is it a sphere? Is it a dome? Is it flat? I'm just posing this out there. I come from a neutral perspective. I just share information because I want to bring awareness that there's other things out there. So let's work on our senses for a bit, if everyone would like to, if they're okay with that, because I'm all about gaining insight, awareness to our abilities. Are you clairvoyant? Now, they have an ISS and CSS. Lots of satellites out in space. Yeah, what are all those satellites doing? Those are a lot of frequencies coming to our, I don't know about all these frequencies coming and hitting us, our very, very magnificent advanced technology of this light being of light. I don't know if all these frequencies are good for us, all these satellites. So our intuitive abilities. I've been saying that we all have these abilities, and you must know that. You must be working on this part of you because it's going to be beneficial to you in the future. You're going to be ahead of the game. You'll be able to determine, having intuitive abilities and doing these exercises, practicing are only going to make you have more of a clear mind, bring more focus, bring more concentration. And so I've been saying, what are yours? Do you have clear sustenance, clear audience? And I want to work on some of those separately with you, if that's okay. Do you have clear gustinance, the tasting, the clear cognizance? Are you clear empathic? And I've shared the exercises with you, some of these examples of what to do. We're going to get a little more advanced in a bit. Today is going to be probably the last day of beginner. Then we're going to move a little bit more advanced because some people are continually joining us. So I want to share some more advanced ways. But before we do that, I want to tune into and speak about each sense separately, because that's how you're going to move into advancing. Okay, so I shared with you, clear senses is a knowing. It's a knowing coming from an outside source. And maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it is an idea, maybe it is an image, maybe it is a symbol, maybe it's a sensation. There's a lot of possibilities, and you are going to have one of these clear senses that really you're going to master. It's going to be one that you master, and you're going to use that one. Abundance. Could you do a meditation on abundance? Yes. You're going to master that one clear sense, and it's going to be the one that actually is your strongest gift. And you'll be able to do the other ones, but I'm sure that you're going to have one that you master. That's going to be the easiest. So we're going to really work towards what's your easiest and master that first. And then the other clear senses will probably fall behind. And I'm only sharing this because this is what's happened for me. This is exactly what's happened for me. And I didn't even know. Mine first was clair empathic. I was very empathic. And so from that, I went into becoming an intuitive. I'm not saying that's going to be the case for you. So let's do a little bit of exercise, a little practice here. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to go through each sense. And so you're going to have to do a little quiet for a minute because it's all going to be self work. So you're going to work on and you're going to learn a little bit about yourself. Okay, so just try this with me. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and write in the chat. We have a lot of writing going on today. Thank you for sharing that. And I love to know what everyone else has going on. Okay, so let's work on separately because we know that each of our senses is a clairsense separately. And then we have our sixth sense, right? So we're going to work on, we're going to first start out because I love this. I love this the most because to me, this takes you to another realm. Okay. And then we're going to do this exercise together. And then we're going to do another one related to light, about tuning into light. Okay. So the first exercise is going to be, now walk this through with me. Go through this with me. We're going to work on our clairaudience right now. So what does that mean? I've told you what that means is we close our eyes, we go into a quiet space, and what do we hear? So I would like you to, we don't have to be that serious about it because we're right here on, doing this. I'm doing this video and you're here with me live. So we're going to just do it together. So we're going to close our eyes and we're going to listen as hard as we can listen. We're going to let out a breath. And then we're going to listen as hard as we can listen. In other words, we're going to say, what am I hearing? 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 All the different levels. Okay, because there's going to be all these different levels that you're going to hear. Okay, so it's going to be how far can you hear? Because you're going to work on this. And what are you hearing? And I want you to imagine that you're going into another place, another location in darkness. I want you to imagine, because this is how you're going to tune into another realm. You might even activate your third eye. So let's close our eyes. So walk with me through this, okay? Closing your eyes, let out a breath. Now I want you to listen. Now you have the hearing of this, wherever the location is you are in right now, this location, this physical location. So for me, I'm going to give you an example. I hear there's a refrigerator. I hear something blowing. You're going to hear all the systems. This is how you're going to open up your hearing. Okay, so you're hearing everything in this room or this space. Now I want you to listen beyond this, beyond the walls. Go there. Go there next. Come on, take your hearing there. Now, what are you hearing there? Do you have a window open? Do you hear outside? Can you tune in outside where you are, this physical space right here? Now, for me, I'm hearing outside, which is I'm hearing nature outside. So that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like insects. Now I'm trying to hear even farther, a block away. How far can you hear? Just keep trying. Just keep working at this. Keep going with your hearing. Okay, now I want you to imagine that you're hearing a block from where you are, 2 blocks from where you are, a mile from where you are. I want you to stretch your hearing as far as you can. Now, I don't know if you can, but look, this takes practice. See, I can hear something like it's some kind of truck that's on a highway, that's a highway close by. So you can you'll find that you'll begin to hear farther and farther away. Because then what ends up happening is you're going to end up hearing to another realm. You're going to end up hearing from another source. And this is going to be how you start to work remotely. You're going to start to hear remote information from somewhere else. It's just working on your intuitive skills, if you're interested. So that's how you do it. It's like steps. You keep going. Now, I don't know how that resonates with you. Now, most of the time, what this means is you're taking your senses and you're using a combination of your mind, like your third eye, your mind's eye, like when we do visualizations, and you're combining the two to take you to another place. Okay, so we're going to try this with one more sense, one more of your senses, and then you do it on your own, okay? Because I don't know how happy people are with me doing this. Okay, so let's do feeling. Let's do feeling, knowing. We're going to do a combination, cognizance and sense-tenance, because they are a combination, a feeling and a knowing. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, I would like you to go back to the last time you had a conversation with someone. The last conversation that you had. So, because it has to be recent so you can remember some of it. So I want you to go back to the last conversation that you had, and I want you to go to that moment, go to that conversation with whoever it was, anyone. And I want you to sit there and imagine the conversation, and I want you to go back to exactly what the other person said to you and what emotions they were bringing to the conversation. What are you receiving? What are you finding out about that person that you didn't know before? So in other words, you're imagining right now the last conversation, and maybe you were at work, maybe you were with a family member, maybe you were with a relative, maybe you were with a friend, maybe you were at the grocery store. The last conversation that you had with someone. Now I want you to tune into whatever they were giving you. What emotions were they giving you? What feelings did you get? So that you can have more clarity and more of an understanding, and you can separate everything, because you're going to begin to separate everything. You're going to separate and understand when messages come through, when there's something that you need to be alerted about. Maybe you're going to be able to understand and sense what other people are really saying to you. It's like the gray area. So as you imagine this and remember this last conversation, I'll give you an example. I was at the gym. I'm going to go to that conversation. So the last conversation I had was with the instructor. And I'm going to that conversation with her. And I'm remembering, what were her expressions? What was she saying? What was she meaning? And what was she saying without speaking? What vibes what was I getting from her is what I'm trying to say. What impressions did I receive? Did I know something about her that she didn't tell me? I'm tuning in right now to that conversation. And what I receive is that there was something that was annoying to her today that she didn't speak about, that happened earlier in the day. So that's what I received. Now, I'm not questioning it. I just accepted that impression. I didn't think about it. If you can take your thoughts away from your senses, then you will receive impressions quicker. So they're called transference. It's transferring information, impressions. Okay? So try that. We're working on our intuitive senses, our abilities. And I want to also speak about the object of focus, which is an token object reading, like I always talk about, because I think this is very valuable, because this is very difficult to do. If you can master this, then you are genius at this. And it's not easy to take someone's possession, their object, and do a token object reading. So what impressions do you get from a stranger's stuff? Just like going out and meeting someone, and you know what? Ask someone and say, hey, do a reading on you if you want. Okay, next exercise that I'd like to do. Anyone who's joining us, please tell us where you're coming from, the video. We're just covering intuitive abilities that we all have. And today we cover ways of darkness. We're all about healing and self-confidence and willing to be and expanding our mind and getting us in a quantum leap. We spoke one-way street. There's one-way street towns. And are you in a one-way street? Your life? Is this going to be a one-way street government, a one-world government? We spoke about being a dark horse and how they're majestic and horse luck. And are you the underdog? Do you consider yourself the underdog to be the last one to win the race when you're actually not? You're going to succeed before everyone, because when all those other beings are conforming, and you're actually tuning into yourself and your destiny, because you're the only one who knows how to get to your destiny, because your spirit and your heart will resonate. Anything that resonates with you, go to it. That's what you should be doing. You should be doing whatever resonates with you, because that's a vibration inside of you. It's like an alert. Do that, do that, do that. And then we spoke about what shape is the earth. And, we had Thomas over here who told us that for sure it was a sphere. We have the Flat Earther Society who don't believe that. And then we also have those who believe that this is a dome. This is, I don't know what the rest of the earth, but this is a dome. We're in a dome. And then beyond the clouds is something else, like in a sci-fi movie, right? That there's a dome over us, and then they're creating all the weather, and then there's really you really can't go to outer space. That kind of beliefs. So we're going to do another exercise, and this is going to help your intuitive skills if you're interested. And it's about actually joining into maybe an astral projection. It's going to help you kind of relay information from another source. So I'd like you to close your eyes. It's going to be a little bit quicker than the last one. You're going to close your eyes, and you're basically going to, actually, you know what? Let's not close our eyes. Let's try not closing our eyes this time, and let's see how this goes. This is kind of a little experiment. You know how we work on our ball of light, and we talk about creating light and energy outside of our bodies? Just like we create light within our bodies by doing a visualization, we're bringing light into our systems. And why are we doing that? Because we're going to break down any negativity and darkness, and we're going to spark light in our hearts. Okay, so what I'd like you to imagine, and you can do it with your eyes open, so let's see how much concentration and focus you have. I'd like you to imagine a ball of light right here on your hands. Put your hands out and imagine the ball of light right here on your hands. And I'd like you to imagine yourself going into the ball of light. You're inside the ball of light, because I want you to become used to going into light, because this is how light workers work. They take light, they go into light, and then they travel through light. It would be like going into the electrical outlet or going into the wire. I know this is far-fetched, but it's possible. So you're going to go into, this is how you can do remote viewing. This is how you can bring light into remotely. So I want you to imagine that the ball of light is right here on top of your hands. And I want you to imagine going into the light. And I'd like anyone who can do this to please write in the chat, what do you see when you go into the ball of light? Now, everyone's going to have a different experience. So you're imagining yourself going into the ball of light. Now, maybe you need to look at it and that you're going into the ball of light. So for me, when I go into the ball of light, I'm actually inside of it, and I see that I'm in a sphere. So it's like I'm in a bubble. That's what I see when I do that just now. So what do you see when you go into the ball of light? So you can imagine going into light. Now, if that's not easy for you to do, imagine the sun and traveling into the sun, because the sun is light. So what happens when you go into the sun? Do you feel warm? Like, what kind of feeling sensations do you have? So when I go into this ball of light, strangely enough, I don't feel hot. I feel that it's like a little bit not cold, not maybe brisk. I feel that it's cold when I go into my ball of light. What do you feel like when you go into your ball of light? Now, I am at, for some reason, when I imagine going into the sun, which is also a ball of light, like I say, I imagine that I sense, my senses go off, that I feel very warm. So maybe my ball of light is cold. I don't know. Everyone's going to have a different sensation. This is just, it's about accepting. It's about not conforming. It's about having your own ideas and feelings and emotions about this. Okay. Okay. So we can do a visualization. We can do the ball of light. Does anyone want to have a perspective on this? Okay, so maybe I'll do the ball of light. We can do the ball of light, and maybe that'll just kind of close off on that. And I guess I also want, okay, so let's do the ball of light. We're rubbing our hands together. We're taking it away from our body, right? We rub our hands together. And then now I've spoken about if you have taken any medication or like even like a pain, like something, if you have a headache, you might not have the sensation. So you're going to take your hands apart like this. And what kind of sensations do you have on your hands? Do you feel it on your palms? And so we're creating light outside of our being. We're creating energy. And we're putting energy all around. Like if you want to just take the energy and move it around the room, wherever you are, and just bring light into the space and bring it around your body. We all have an energy field that's around our bodies. And in our energy field is stored our emotional, our mental, our spiritual experiences. That's how I read someone, is from the energy field. So if we take our ball of light and bring it around the room, we're bringing energy around the room. Whatever you may think, this is actually a real thing. This really is true. So I'm going to do a quick read, which I'm getting a little tired of doing this because I keep coming up with the same kind of perspective. Actually, that's not true. I just saw something. I saw like I saw like a reptilian, like a reptile, and it came up to bite me right here. So it's interesting. As soon as I said that, I saw something else. So something's mad at me, and it's very evil. Something's very mad at me. Interesting. I do see water. Wow, that was a dark thing. So I'm going to put light around it. It stuck its tongue out at me. So what would that be? A lizard? So there's a lizard that's mad at me. All right. But, a lizard is considered a reptilian, right? So maybe that's a extraterrestrial. They say there's reptilians on this earth, extraterrestrials, and they are in roles of leadership. I don't know. What do you think? Okay, so I do see the angels. So everything else, that was very close to me. That was in my energy field. Everything else seems to be there. I still see everything. I do see that Archangel Michael is not standing still, or not still, more like wings flapping. And so maybe that's a reaction to me. Okay, so if everyone wants to try that, that is, entirely up to you, because these are just suggestions. I'm going to put my hands back together. And so I'm going to do a quick visualization, and it looks like we're going to hit, oh, sorry for that loud noise. We're going to hit the hour. We're going to hit 1 hour. And that's what I always try for, but sometimes I go over. And, I just really want to be here for you and give you support and tell you, remind you about unconditional love. And so, what is that exactly? We spoke about two paths, didn't we, the other day? We spoke about there's two paths, and there's path service to self and service to others. And so I'm dedicated to the service to others, which means that I have love, and any information that I have that I feel is beneficial, I will share. And that also means if somebody is in a dire situation or they need someone, I'm there to support them. I'm there to support them and tell them that I love them regardless of what they have, who they are, what they look like. And so we must have unconditional love for ourselves, and we spoke about peace in our hearts. Now, when we have all of that for ourselves, what ends up happening is, strangely enough, then we want to share that with others. We want to give others our love. We want to give others our peace. Not everyone's appreciative of it. Not everyone likes that because they're in a place of pain. It's not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that they're not ready yet. Not everyone's ready at the same time. And do we forgive them for that? Yes. And we say, I want good things for them, no matter what. And not everyone's going to have the same opinion, and not everyone's going to have the same perspective. And that's okay. That makes them an individual, and they might not be ready. We speak about awakening. We speak about coming out from the slumber of this matrix, this world, this linear world that we were raised in. And we wake up and we go, wait a second. Oh my gosh, like, what is this? And we take an aerial perspective and we look at everything and we say, you know what? Maybe there's another reality out there for me. Well, for me, I see heaven on earth. And that's what I see. Now, I say that we have, from our body, we should have boundaries, 12 inches from our body, that no one can come into unless we give permission, because we're sacred beings of light. We are beings of light. And that means that we're actually multidimensional beings of light. That means that we have so much more within our DNA that we ever knew. So as we ascend and we awaken to another consciousness, a higher consciousness, we will realize that more of ourselves are going to come forward. Now, is everyone going to love that? Probably not, unless they're ascending too. I'm open to it. I'm open to change. I'm opening to transforming, and I'm open to transition. I encourage that. I promote that, because then you become happier. You have more serenity, you have more peace, and you have more love in your heart. Like I say, it's like the first time you were ever in love. What's that feeling that you have? When you're truly all of yourself, that's the feeling you have. You wake up and you're excited to start the day. You say, oh my gosh, I'm headed to my destiny. What is your destiny? Your destiny is where you're supposed to be. What you believe is heaven on earth. What you believe is what you should be doing. Now, maybe you haven't figured that out yet. And so I say, come up with your 5 humongous goals. When you come up with your 5 humongous goals, I'm sure the answers will come to you. So let's do a visualization before we go. So we will create vivid mental images in our mind's eye, bringing us hope, prosperity, and love. Blessings. Our intention today is to gain strength. Your self-acceptance visualization begins now. So please find a quiet space, sit or lay down comfortably. So we're going to let go of old thoughts before this moment. None of that is serving you right now. We're in this moment. It's not serving you. What you were thinking about, like, what you had to buy at the store or what you have to do after this, it's not serving you. Let's be in this moment now, right now, so that it helps you right now. It brings light into your system. So we're going to close our eyes and we're going to let out a breath. If we have to speak it out, if we have any tension, we're going to tense up and let go. Just let go. Let everything go. And we're going to breathe in and out, inhale and exhale deeply 3 times, and we're going to do it together. So let's do that together. And we're going to do it on a 12 count. And this way we are more or less relaxed. Okay? Okay, so I'd like you to just focus on your breath right now and look for a place inside of you of calmness and peace and relaxation. And I'd like you to let out old energy and breathe in fresh air. And so as you breathe in the fresh air, I'd like you to imagine before you a stream of spinning light that surrounds you. And this band of spinning light is illuminating, and it's about a foot wide. And it's spinning around your body. And as it spins, it's spinning clockwise. It's letting off sparks and it's touching your body. So this band of light is spinning around your body and sparks of light are touching your skin. And as they touch your skin, you can feel them penetrate and they can go into your organs, your flesh, your bones. So this band of spinning light is spinning around you, setting off sparks of light. And it feels like home. It feels like peace. It feels like innocence and purity, and you're comforted. You're comforted by this light. The spinning light is bringing you to a place of home, and you feel safe. So the spinning whitish light, it's beaming, it's gleaming, it's glistening, and it's spinning clockwise 3 times around you, solidly 3 times. This band, it's a foot wide. This band is spinning 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And so as it moves clockwise, it begins to expand towards you. So all of this light is coming onto your being, and now it's spinning clockwise, counterclockwise. Now it's spinning counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3. So these sparks are bringing you feelings of excitement and hope, and then it engulfs you. Your whole being is engulfed with this light. And so an emotion comes over you instantly because you're startled. This light is within you. And this emotion, it's real. It's no longer a fantasy. Your desires are happening right now. In this moment, you've accepted yourself. You've accepted the light. It offers you happiness and love. And it's entering all of your pores, all of your cells. So the light joins together in your center and it awakens your spirit, and your heart and brain connect. So your brain, your heart, your mind, your spirit all gain strength because they are in collaboration. They're collaborating with the light. The past is gone and you have awareness of who you are and all of the choices before you. So the light becomes a little bit smaller and it takes place in your heart. It stays in your heart. This light stays in your heart. And you have joy and you have grace and peace take over your emotions. So I'd like you to leave this light in your heart and feel the joy. And maybe there's some sparks coming off the light in your heart because we're sparking the light in our heart. I'm going to count backwards to 1, and you're going to open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so, here's some sources for you of bringing light. I gave you some examples today, like looking into the ball of light and what do you see? Now, these are just exercises to practice working your mind in a different way. because we're really trying to tune into exactly what your clear senses are, because you're going to master one sense to start. And that's going to be your way that you start by doing this, and then others will follow. Now, if you're lucky enough that you have 2 strong clear senses, that's great too. Whatever it is, everyone's going to be different. Like I say, everyone's going to be different. We also spoke about tuning into your different senses. So you can do what we did earlier, the exercise. You can do it with your hearing. You can do it with your taste. You can sit there and imagine a sensation of taste. You can do it with your sight. You can do it with your heart. If you want to be in a situation and you want to tune into someone, or you can tune into your heart, exactly what you're feeling, and identify the different feelings that you have. Like I say every morning when you wake up, not only do we have a great intention where we say, oh, today I'm going to have a wonderful day, and this is what's going to happen, and I'm going to bring good things into my life. You might tune into your heart and you say, okay, I have this feeling, I have this feeling, I have this feeling. And you identify it so you know more about yourself. Okay, everyone, that's it for today. So tomorrow I'll be back at 11 o'clock. And I do want to mention angels before we go, because I love angels. So here's some signs of angels. If angels are in your life, and I say ask for angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth. They're here to protect humanity. They're messengers. They're protectors. They're warriors. And so you might experience an angel in your life, and it might just be that you feel like a breeze across your face. You might say, angels, come into my life, like I do. I pray to angels. I pray to a lot. I pray to God. I pray to Virgin Mary. I pray to Jesus Christ. I pray to angels. I pray. And, like I say, if you ask for something to come into your life, it will. If you ask for answers, it will come into your life. If you ask for your clear abilities, it will come into your life. If you ask for your destiny to come into your life, it will. So maybe you sense a presence. Maybe you sense something that's carrying you through a situation. Maybe you'll experience a miracle, divine intervention, something that will change you and awaken you. It might come in the form of, here's some little signs. It might come in the form of, you might have a dream of an angel or hear an angel. You might see flapping of wings. You might see numbers, there's angel numbers, like 1111, if it's like 1111, they say that's really good luck. You might see numbers on license plates, and I always thought that was angel numbers because it was my birthday. You might smell something and say, oh, I smell an angel. You might see a penny and think it's an angel, or wet white feathers, or have a dream, or birds, or sparks of light. You might see sparks of light. You might tune into sparks of light in your existence. Maybe you'll see angel orbs, orbs of light. There's a lot of symbols of angels. And you know what they say? 70% of Americans believe in angels, believe it or not. All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to spin light, and you're in the center, and you're making a wish. Okay? And I'm spinning the light clockwise, and you're making a wish, because we want all good things for you. And then I'm spinning it counterclockwise, and I really am seeing light spinning. And I want good things for you, and I'll be back again tomorrow. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I want good things for you, and be well, sending love and light. Bye.